All right, and joining us now on BCB Live is Jacob Smith, the Senior Director at the National Organization for Youth Safety. Jacob Smith, welcome and good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Man, glad to have you here. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but you're going to be asked to say this a little later. Dave, let's just go ahead and help you out. BCB Live, we're the safest station in the nation. We are all about safety. But it doesn't sound like we're alone in this. It sounds like you're come across out of that same cut as we do. Talk to us about yourself. Why this? Why this for you?
Yeah, I first want to say I am a Texan, so glad to be representing Texas, but I'm based in Colorado. Road safety has been so important to my life, being safe, working with young people in safety. Back in 2014, I was a part of a youth leadership organization in high school called Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. I had just spoken to over 5,000 young people, challenging them to cherish every moment in life. And that night, my life was challenged, and a drunk driver was not driving on the wrong side of the road and hit our school vehicle head on. I sustained traumatic injuries, brain injury, facial reconstruction, metal rods in my back, and I had to relearn how to walk, talk, read, and my life changed completely. And I was airlifted to the closest hospital. And at that moment, I had a choice to be bitter or to be better. And I chose to be better and to dedicate my life to mobilizing young people globally to care about safer roads and people making the right decisions on the road.
And here we are. I find it great and very, very inspiring to understand that as a young person, you not only sought to make a change for everybody, but young people in particular. And what better group to go after than a young person and to change not only their life, because they'll have the greatest impact over the length of their life as you would any other person. I'm not saying that everybody shouldn't be safe. That's not the message we're giving, but it is fascinating that it's young people, because really that's truly a different dynamic, right?
Yeah, completely. Young people have historically been the architects of change. Young people have been involved in everything, and they can be the greatest leaders who can really keep us all safe on the road. So I believe in young people, and I tell everyone, believe that young people can make a change.
Almost sounds like a song I know. I believe the children are our future. All
Amen.
right.
I hear
So
it too.
what is NOYS? Is that how you pronounce the acronym? What is
Yeah.
NOYS? Why don't you go
Yeah.
into explain a little bit about what it is and what it does?
Yeah, NOYS. So much easier than saying our full name, National Organizations for Youth Safety. But we were actually founded by the federal government in 1995 to really focus on traffic safety and mobilizing young people. And today, although we address all pressing youth health and safety issues, our work is really built upon how are we building capacity and uniting young people all across the nation to really focus on health and safety issues. So we bring young people together from across the nation. We give them the skills, the resources, the leadership abilities, and the data to really build programs in their communities where they're raising awareness about pressing youth and health safety issues. So that could be mental health, road safety, anything that's really make that they can make a difference in their community. And like I said, we believe in young people, so we believe in shifting power, connecting young people to decision makers, connecting young people to folks who are on the road. We really believe that young people can make a difference, and so we work across the nation to build programs so young people can address these issues.
You know what? When it comes to our industry, one thing we make a point to do every year around the beginning of school year is to remind our industry, our drivers, truck drivers, everybody that, hey, listen, there's also a new group out there driving today. It's those kids, that are going to high school now that are driving there, and maybe their minds are preoccupied a little bit. Our question, and one thing we've always been curious about, and are we doing enough to really educate our drivers, these young drivers, about interacting with the big trucks out here on the roadway?
Yeah, I think there's always more that can be done. When it comes to thinking about car crashes, we see it all the time. We see it in the movies, we see it on TV. young people know that our roads are dangerous. And so what we do here at NOYS is we really shift that perspective and say, hey, you are already know that there's an issue. So how about we give you all the power to educate your peers and educate your families and communities about this issue. Create innovative social media campaigns, petitions, work with your community to think of innovative ways to really raise awareness, because the traditional ways are no longer working. We know that the roads are dangerous and that we all have to stay safe, but we got to have creative and innovative young people to create the messaging so that it can reach the people who need it most.
All right, and when you do that, when you speak to that, what are some of the examples that you do? I heard you said social media campaigns. Are there any particular that we may know of or have heard of, or anything that y'all are working out there that we need to pay attention to, or even pass that information not only to our children but also to our grandchildren?
Yeah, we're really excited. We've brought on 10 national teen influencers from across the nation in the top 10 states with the highest increase in teen driving crashes. And those influencers have really been working over the past few months and are going to be working over the next month to really create innovative messaging around teen safe driving and getting young people to recognize that there are many decisions that you have to make on the road, and those all should be positive. So yeah, stay updated on our social media. We're going to be launching that during National Teen Driver Safety Week from October 16th through the 22nd. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of awesome ads and creative elements on Snapchat. Instagram Reels are so popular now. So we've really put the power in the young people's hands to create a national campaign around making sure that teens stay safe on the road.
Jacob, one thing that we talk about in our industry all the time is distracted driving. It's a major cause for a lot of the accidents that we have in over the road that involved in, not necessarily just a fatality, but any kind of accident or incident, whether it's running a red light, running a stop sign, following too close, whatever that is. And distracted driving, to what we say, isn't just on the cell phone. It's what goes on in that mind. I know you talked a little bit about, mental illness, but we have distracted driving. What is that a major cause in what you see with the youth as well?
Yeah, distracted driving, like you said, is a very complex topic. It's not just phone; it can be eating, it can even be your mind, and it's actually a focus that we're going to be talking a lot more about this fall, because mental health has taken a toll on all of us, but particularly young people, and that can affect them when they're getting in a car. So we're going to be talking about mental health and distracted driving, but one of the key points is recognizing that young people have to have a focus on safety when they're getting in the car, as well as everyone else. And if we can keep safety as the key goal, then that's more important. A lot of times, that's so much easier than telling someone, "Hey, do this, do this, do this to stay safe on the road." But if your mind is key on protecting yourself and others, then I think we can keep a message very simple and short, for our teens and for our community.
When you and I hear you talk about it, and you speak to young people, does that just focus certainly around the teens, or are we reaching out even farther into the younger people, like into the elementary schools, into the junior highs? I mean, we have an opportunity, I believe, to influence those people and those kids at an early age in a positive way and capture them early, because you get to the 15-year-old, sometimes you're like, okay, I've told you 5 times and you still hadn't heard me what I said. But I don't mean that. I'm just joking. Every old person says that. But really, do y'all also go after and talk to and speak to the real youth of America?
Yeah, so we work with our target age group is around 11 to 25. So we have a very wide age of folks that we work with, and we really look at where's the missing gap. So when young people are in education, when young people are getting their permits, when is that time where they actually no longer have that parental supervision? And when is the opportunity for NOYS as a youth-powered organization to come in and make that intervention? So that's really our key part. But we do work with partners. We have incredible partners such as In Distracted Driving, which is a great organization that has curriculums for younger individuals. And we look to them as the experts to educate, elementary schools. But our work is really in middle school, high school, and college, where we know that oftentimes young people have varying experiences. And even now, we've seen young people not even be able to continue school. So it's important for us as a national organization to make sure that we're not only reaching the young people in school, but we're also working with social services, nonprofit organizations to reach young people who don't always have that traditional education around teen driving.
Jacob, so our industry, the trucking industry today, roughly around 80,000 drivers short in what we see today. And it's a number that continues to grow. We have an older population driving, 55 years old plus, that will be retiring. Not a lot of people coming in. Question for you. A lot of conversation, a lot of commentary based on that 18 to 21 year old. Your range group that you see, that you talk to, 11 to 25. Of that 18 to 21, a big fear that we all have in our industry is like, man, there's no way they're ready to make that decision, that they're safety committed, that they're ready to drive the big truck. Do you see drivers of that age, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, do you feel in general that, they're old enough to go to the war, they're old enough to go into the military, they're old enough to vote, at 18, do you feel like they're old enough, responsible enough, how about that, to drive a big truck?
That's a very good question. I will say the first thing is that there's not enough education in our field around young people and truck driving. I will say that first and foremost, that there just isn't. We haven't even focused on it as much as we need to. So I would say I would put that back in our hands as folks who are educators and say, we've got to do more education around if young people are going to be driving in trucks, we got to educate them. But I would secondly say that, young people have varying responsibilities and varying tasks, and they're living a life, I'll say it, from 18 to 22. And so it's important for us as educators and as folks in this nonprofit world to really focus on that. Because you're right. Like it's a prime time. It's a prime time where they haven't had as much driver experience, and driving big trucks that can put a bigger risk. So I'll say that it's a higher risk for young drivers to be driving big trucks like you all drive. And we got to do better education around it.
There's something very interesting here in some of the information, and it says here, you say, and that's you, Jacob, that there is no ideal youth activist. Can you speak to that what you mean by that, and what does that mean?
Yeah, growing up, like I said, I was involved in many youth-serving organizations, leadership. I was traveling constantly to leadership conferences. And when this crash happened that affected my life so deeply, I looked around the world and I said, all right, who am I talking to? And most of the people that I were talking to were young people who have already been a part of youth leadership programs. And so what our goal here at NOYS is how are we finding the young people who don't have access to this information, who don't have access to travel to leadership conferences to learn? And so we don't look for the perfect youth leader who can speak on stage, who has better academics. We look for young people who are just organic themselves, who need that information to stay safe. Safety needs to be a message for everyone, for any young person. And so here at NOYS, we don't look for the ideal young leader who's the top in the class. We look for any young person who needs safety information and who we can build as a leader to make a difference in their community.
Jacob, if anybody wants to reach out to you, if anybody wants to get a hold of NOYS or you with NOYS, or wants to get involved in your program, how do they get to you? How do they reach you? And what do they need to do?
Yeah, follow us on all social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at NOYS News. You can hit us up on our website at noys.org. We're going through a major relaunch, which is exciting, a recommitment to young leaders. So you'll see some interesting information on social media, kind of teasing you all for the relaunch. But hit us up on all of our social media. We have so many awesome programs that we're launching this fall, and we really need young people to be leading in this work because they're the future. And we got to keep our roads safe. Too many people are dying.
Yeah, Jacob, I'm going to go out and say this right here. Some things you shouldn't do alone. I believe in to Bryce, our director here that watches, that puts this together. I'm going to say, hey, let's put Jacob together with somebody like Elizabeth, who was on the show yesterday, the executive vice president of the American Trucking Association. That's also these trucking associations. I'm just going to tell you, they are involved in the youth. They're going out into that younger group, to also talk to them about the same things you're talking and educate them a little bit on the trucking. You know what? I'm gonna try to get them in touch with you, get you together, because I think there's definitely some synergies right here. We're all talking the same thing. It's all about safety. It's all about education. We can do this together and have a better outreach to what you're doing there in Colorado and across this country.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do appreciate you coming on here and spreading your message and getting it out, because we all need to hear that we're all involved, whether you're our age or you're the youth of America, try to working towards a better and safer highway out there for all. And we stand behind you 100%. We stand behind NOYS and whatever we can do to help. Hey, Jacob, before you get out of here, I got to ask you a quick question. I got to make sure that you can say your name, what organization you're with, and that you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Can you do that?
Yeah, I got you. Jacob Smith, Senior Director at NOYS, and I'm watching the safest station in the nation, BCB.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Jacob.
Hey, Jacob, appreciate you. One more thing for you. Hashtag In the Street Texas. Not sure if you're familiar with that or not, but it goes back to November of 2021, right? Or 2020?
No, November of 2012.
Yeah. 2012, that every day inside of Texas there's been a fatality on the roadway. Hashtag In the Street Texas. Every day somewhere in Texas there's a fatality on one of our roads. It takes all of us. It takes our youth. It takes us as adults. It takes all of us being focused on that distraction and putting it aside, letting it wait just another minute or two. Jacob, thank you for what you do. God bless you. We'll talk to you later, buddy, and have a great day.
Bye now, Jake.
Awesome.